Well, the news is that Donald Trump is already announcing and warning about the supposed complete collapse of Cuba. Well, this is like the third or fourth time that he announces the collapse of Cuba. But obviously there is a crisis and the situation on the island is extremely complicated.
Keep looking at.
Look at the clouds today. It's a very beautiful day. We're in downtown Monterrey broadcasting live. Meanwhile, Donald Trump makes two very interesting comments, especially considering that he says after dealing with the Iranians, I mean, he thinks he's a man of action and that everything is calm and that he wants to talk with. I showed my black friend and said sometimes he wakes up in a good mood, other times in a bad mood, just like Donald Trump, who acts as both good cop and bad cop, sometimes at once. He says after dealing with the Iranians, we'll move on. If not, we won't. We're going to turn to Cuba and we're going to finish whatever needs to be finished. Obviously, they're talking about a collapse, but they could give one last push if it were necessary. The topic of Cuba isn't forgotten. It's June. We're already on the 3rd or 4th of June. I can't even tell you what day it is. 4th, right?
4.
4 de junio. And well, we see how June could be a month in which they put pressure on the Cubans, specifically on the regime.
Right? Exactly. Just look at Cuba with incredible blackouts, sometimes nothing at all, sometimes just 1 or 2 hours of electricity a day. And now the garbage is also piling up in the streets because there's no fuel for them to provide basic services, not even to collect the trash. And this is obviously super dangerous when it comes to health issues.
Exactly. And look, among the announcements being made, new sanctions are being put in place. Now, directly to President Díaz-Canel. I mean, he as a person, let's say, is being sanctioned by the United States to make things even tougher. These are sanctions that probably, well, sometimes can have some effects, especially if they have some kind of account or things like that abroad in their name. But normally, these people tend to put things in other people's names, right? I mean, other types of people handle them, people acting as fronts, so to speak. So honestly, who knows if this sanction that they want to apply to Díaz-Canel will actually be enforced, but it is active. It was activated today.
And well, also today, interestingly, Trump said, and I think he really woke up in a bad mood because he said, going back to the topic of Iran, that either they sign or that's it. Things are about to turn violent. Now, for real, seriously, because, well, he's starting to get fed up. I think even he's tired of his own speech.
Exactly. I mean, in the end, they don't want to, well, on one hand, Donald Trump doesn't want to escalate things, right? Because he knows escalating could cause complications due to the global situation. But on the other hand, there's also more and more pressure on him, telling him, well, there's this half-finished war where, so to speak, the battle report favors the Iranians. In what sense? In what sense? Well, in the sense that none of the objectives were achieved by the United States. And in what was supposed to be, well, just a walk in the park. I mean, basically something super simple, super easy in theory. Well, no, in theory, it's a country in crisis, but it's a country in crisis that had been planning for an invasion and attack by the United States for decades. So they knew that was going to happen sooner or later. And that dream came true for them, or that nightmare, depending on how you look at it. But in the end, since they were ready, the effect was minimal for them. And this, well, is seen as a loss, right? Because when you're the ultra plus ultra, the ultimate ultra, whatever that is.
Yeah, it looks balanced. It looks... He has managed to be very neutral and put Donald Trump's position in danger, first by attacking the Gulf countries. No, they're there. And you'd think Trump would be concerned about them being attacked. But in the last few days, with the attack on Kuwait, he said nothing at all. No. It's not like, yes, well...
That's why this is also seen as a weakness, right? Yes, the words are very long-winded, very harsh, but aside from words, in reality, we're not seeing any significant actions, right? And well, the negotiation seems to be more about being...
Yes, the World Cup topic, which... well, is getting quite a reaction. And well, it's still an unresolved issue today on the topic of Iran. It was that, well, there was this guy, what's his name? Abbas Agarashi, the foreign minister, and he assured that, well, the talks are ongoing, but they don't see anything being resolved for now. Even though Donald Trump already has like 15 how many months saying that it's almost signed? Well, Abbas Agarashi makes it very clear what we all know. No, there's no end in sight, right?
Yes, no.
Yes, there's no end in sight. And well, now Agarashi this time is going out to do some half-hearted diplomacy, thinking that, well, he's supposed to be one of the moderates among the people who are controlling or are an important part of the regime. And then Mazupes Iskian, who honestly doesn't even show up anymore, the Iranian president, the only reason being that there was a resignation. That's not true. Well, true or not, he's come out again. If that were false and he hadn't resigned, he would at least show up from time to time, making some comment. No, he doesn't appear in any way. Iskian then is out, and there is a kind of internal coup d'etat within Iran. Because, well, even if it's not accepted as such, in the end, the one who takes power is his son. Ali Khamenei was a person who wasn't even supported by his own father. I mean, his father didn't want him to be the supreme leader, because in theory, that's why they joined that Iranian revolution. Because they were tired of nepotism. They didn't want family members to stay in power endlessly. And that's exactly what they're doing themselves. Now, many of the Ayatollahs didn't want Moshtaba to come in. And now, well, Moshtaba acts like nothing happened, right?
Exactly. And well, this morning Hezbollah also came out, because we have to remember that the ceasefire agreement between the United States and Iran is tied to Hezbollah, because that's how Iran wants it, right? But well, this morning it was claimed that there was an agreement between Israel and Lebanon, but Hezbollah immediately reacted by saying they did not accept that agreement, that they were going to continue with their actions, and for their own sake, now the clouds are also gray. And at the same time, you can see the contrast of the blue, and at the same time, anyway, the attacks continued. I mean, those agreements aren't just to please Trump or the White House. But in the end, well, they have to respond to the attacks from Hezbollah.
Exactly. And well, right now we see heavy rain clouds here in northeastern Mexico. We're seeing how the storms are happening from the southeastern United States all the way to southern Mexico, southeast of Mexico. I mean, there's a forecast for rain for the next 15 days, and it's going to be quite abundant. It's the area with the most rain, or at least it's not forecasted to be the area with the most rain in the country. But still, I expect to see plenty of water for Nuevo León. Changing the subject a little bit, just because we're out here on the street. Well, we're taking a walk with you all. No, we're not passing nearby. Where are the most interesting World Cup projects? Maybe they're just in the small details. But all the sidewalks have that yellow line, which already has black stains again from the tires and all that. But let's say all of that has been renovated. All of those are new. I mean, let's go. There were already sidewalks there, but they've just redone many of them, especially the ones in the most visible areas, let's say. They're making
A
little touch-up, exactly, to the areas that are more visible, so to speak. There are even some over there in asentamientos de personas. Along the road from the airport to here, there were some working-class neighborhoods that aren't really neighborhoods, but more like settlements of people. But they're irregular, let's say, and they put up a wall so you can't see over there. Well, this has caused controversy here in Nuevo León.
Exactly, yes, because from one day to the next, they put up the Berlin Wall in front of their house, like super fast. It was crazy. Block their view because, well, we don't want it to look ugly during the World Cup.
Although, well, that's what they decided.
It's just that the government doesn't look bad, right? I mean, we've already messed up like with the Japanese yesterday, as we mentioned to you during the live, but, well, today the issue was resolved.
Great. Hey, well, we're moving forward. You see how the traffic is here. It's a bit heavy today.
Fun.
It's rush hour. It's rush hour. But hey, well, just thank you so much to everyone in the community who's out there watching live. To those who could spend a little time with us, I send you a big greeting.
Many greetings to Carmen. Greetings, Carmen.
Carmen, how have you been? Big greeting. thank you so much for joining us for a little while. Well, we'll try to go out from time to time, like we've tried to do during the month of May. This is the first broadcast, let's say, out on the street.
Greetings to Luis Garcia and Cielo Pepe. We are waiting for the abusive regime in Cuba to fall. Greetings.
Greetings, Luis. How have you been?
Well, hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon there will be a turn, a change, and that it will be very positive for the Cuban people. Clearly, important changes are needed. And let's hope, well, for democratic and positive changes that are coming, that a good period of prosperity is ahead, which is needed for all Cubans.
Greetings, Karim.
Hi, Karim. How have you been?
He says, greetings from cold Patagonia, Argentina. We love Karim.
Well, look, here we are on the other side, and, well, it's 30 degrees here. Very comfortable anyway, because it was still cloudy. So it's one of those 30 degrees, but it feels less hot than it seems. Really, no. So it's very nice. Anyway, I mean, let's go with the weather, because yes, you want it warm, but not excessively like we're used to.
Yes. No, we've liked it. It's very comfortable, especially with summer starting soon.
And here I am taking a little shortcut. But I think today everyone had the same idea as me. So, well,
Now, what are you waiting for?
we're going to take it a little slow today, right? So, well, thank you so much for joining us. Hey, in just a little while, we'll see you in the full live stream, the one at night with Astrid, and we'll be talking about what's happening in the world, right?
Yes, remember that we're on WhatsApp and Telegram, and we send you the notifications for the streams.
Subscribe if you haven't already, and for those of you who are already part of the community, make sure you've clicked to see all the videos by hitting the bell. Thank you so much for subscribing. Take care. See you tomorrow. See you later. See you in a bit.
See you tonight. See you soon. Bye.